everyone, so today we are going to talk about starting to add value to our drawing. You know that your drawing is ready to add value when you have mapped out not only the contour outline of the images, but also any shadows or highlights within your drawing. That helps you get a more accurate rendering. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have a nice sharp pencil. When I start to shade, I'm going to hold my pencil towards the back end of the pencil. That way, when I'm holding it down, I'm not going to push really hard. It's going to give me a nice light value. When I need a darker value, it's okay to hold it more towards the point, in my opinion. That'll give you a darker pressure. That'll give you more pressure to create a darker value. So when I start to shade, like I said, I'm going to hold it towards the back end. I do this for two reasons. First of all, you're going to have more, and I'm also holding it to the edge. You're going to have more surface area with your lead if you're holding it to the side versus, the point of the pencil. The other reason is you don't want to indent your paper. If you've ever drawn on a piece of paper and then you've messed up and then you go to erase it and then you go to fill it back in once it's accurate and that pesky little line won't fill in. The reason for that is because you created this little tiny groove in your paper now that your lead can't get into. So to avoid that, we're going to use the side. So I'm going to hold it towards the back and I'm just going to gently start adding in my lighter values, and I'm trying to make sure to keep in mind there's some highlights as well. So I want to make sure I keep that nice white highlight. I might have to go back in and kind of eliminate a little. So I'm avoiding this white area. I want to make sure that that stays white. A lot of the times I see students say, well, this is white, when it really is just a really light gray. So for example, over here, there's only some, or a better example would be the tabletop. Well, the tabletop is white. No, actually, if you take a look at it, there is some like grays down here. Back here, it might be white. But they often confuse white with a light shade of gray. You want to make two things pop when you are shading. You want to make your shadows and any really deep, dark areas pop, and you want to have your highlights pop. So here's a perfect example. So I'm going to really make sure that this value is nice and dark, and then it's going to start to fade away. And you really want to have a wide range of tones. Another issue that I see a lot of students is they want to have these kind of dark outlines to indicate an edge. You do not need to have a dark outline to indicate an edge. Instead, having, for example, right here, having a darker tone having a darker tone against a lighter value is going to create that natural edge. You do not have to outline. In fact, that will actually make your drawing look more fake and unrealistic if you are in fact doing that. So I'm going to continue adding in my shadows, still using the edge. And having those, so here's another perfect example of not, outlining. I'm going to have just those edges kind of create that border. And you want to make sure, like I said, leave any areas that you see white, actually white. All right. You're constantly wanting to use your reference photo and matching up where those darks are. And pay attention to the highlights. Nice and dark back here. But then I have this beautiful highlight white back here, and I'm actually going to erase, make sure that that stays nice and white. So I actually love using a mechanical eraser to make sure that I'm getting those beautiful highlights. I love this brand. It's got a nice little teeny point, and you can actually get into those areas really, really nice. And you can get them online. You can get them at, you know, an Office Max and Staples if those stores even still exist. Yeah, they're fairly inexpensive, but they're a great tool to have when shading. So I think that's kind of my tips and tricks for, you know, with shading to get my students started. Like I said, just make sure you're not heavily outlining. That's a big no-no in Miss Salatino's book. And you want to do directional shading. So that brings me to the point of, you know, I want to curve any lines to make the illusion of things that are round. I don't want to necessarily shade always up and down straight, you know, up and down vertically or straight side to side horizontally. For my cup, I'm gonna use these kind of curved motions with my pencil to create this illusion that this cup here, or this mug that I'm drawing, is round. And it's also a good idea to make sure that whatever drawing surface you have, sometimes you want to put something underneath there. Like right now I'm seeing that like my paper is kind of picking up any scratches from the wood. So that's also another good idea to make sure that you're actually drawing on a flat surface. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial about my tips and tricks on how to get going with your project. If you have any questions, feel free to email Miss S, and I will help you to the best of my ability. And we could always, you know, do a in-person Zoom if we have to. All right, so get started on your drawing, and I hope to see your project soon. Bye, guys.